Lucky, you want to bring us in?
Sure. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. We've come the distance. We are at game 5 here. And who would have thought it, Ham? Shanghai Dragons versus Philadelphia Fusion. On paper, this was a write-off. This was one that you came to at the end of the day. You sort of looked at the scoreline on the Overwatch League website and you were like, oh yeah, that's what I expected. But not at all. We are at a 5th map and Shanghai Dragons have had a great showing on Junkertown. They did some they put some cold water. We had some cold fusion on Oasis, and they managed to get that one out as well. So now we are onto the 5th map, and although Lijiang does play out a little differently to Oasis, Shanghai are going to be coming in here with the confidence of having taken the last control map.
Absolutely, Shanghai Dragons, even they may not have expected the amazing showing that they've had against Philadelphia Fusion, and they'll be coming into our tiebreaker hot off of their 2 last map wins. Undead already on this Widowmaker, pressuring out Shadowburn. He's going to have to play the skies very, very carefully, because these are not friendly skies at all.
No, and interestingly, once again, Shanghai refusing to play that Pharah that's just so dominant on this Gardens as well as Oasis Gardens, and they're going for that counter composition. And that first pick, it was a great opportunity for them because Philadelphia Fusion, up until that point, wouldn't have known that Shanghai Dragons, were bringing this out.
Definitely the Widowmaker. Oh no! The Widowmaker, definitely a surprising pick here. Undead getting ventilated courtesy of Shadowburn. His aim showing up a little bit too good this time around, but he's back into the fight from Altering, and already look at this Valkyrie advantage for Shanghai Dragons. Altering already has that ultimate at the ready, going to be popping it there to bring his team back up to full fighting force. But despite all of that, Carpe and Shadowburn have been putting on a masterclass of fragging ability here on the objective.
Undead off the side, and I can only assume that was due to the pressure Shadowburn was exerting upon him there at the back of the point, his little perch that he had. Nonetheless, Dragon's still in control of the point, regardless of Carpe just dealing with so many Shanghai Dragons members. They can't get them all off at the same time. Flipping the point now at 47%. Carpe has done an amazing amount of damage so far, and Shadowburn, he's got that blade ready to go.
Shadowburn is going to have the blade, but Freefeel not going to have the trance to counter it. A really unfortunate fat finger, perhaps? A miscommunication from that Zenyatta, because Shanghai Dragons will be coming in here with their hands tied behind their backs. And one swipe goes down Undead. 2 swipes, Freefeel going to be joining his brethren there in respawn, and Shadowburn making it all look so easy.
And a celebratory swift strike up into the air there just to go off. Shadowburn is in his element here on the Genji. Interestingly, making that swap from the Pharah, they didn't want to have to deal with it on the Widowmaker, who has, as a result, switched off to the McCree himself. And now they come again, but Neptuno's going to give him that sound barrier to help him sustain throughout this fight.
And interestingly, not just the sound barrier from Philadelphia Fusion, but we saw here, despite, Shadowburn getting a clean, 3 dashes, no big, but really interesting decision-making coming out from Roshan. You saw he dove so incredibly deep, all the way across enemy lines into the body of Philadelphia Fusion, but none of the rest of his team followed him up at all, which, if the Neptuno hadn't sound barriered, would still have spelled doom for that push. So interesting decision-making as Undead now actually picks up the Pharah, finally deciding it's time to go, I guess.
Yeah, now he doesn't have a direct hit scan, only the Tracer on the ground to deal with that. He thinks maybe time to try and counter that. Unfortunately, Philadelphia Fusion are right on top of Shanghai Dragons right now. Wow, they almost kept the point out there, but Shadowburn, I feel like he's just holding this blade until he absolutely needs to use it. He feels like they can probably win the fight without it. No, there we go. The blade is popped, and we don't have Freefeel with a Transcendence to counter that. Once again, he just hasn't been saving it for Shadowburn.
He has not been saving it for Shadowburn. Shadowburn maybe feeling a little bit of that disrespect. Gets a beautiful blade off inside the objective, and already in the blink of an eye, Philadelphia Fusion are here with overtime, and it's gone. Round 1 going to the way of Philly.
Shanghai Dragons just lagging in their compositions there. We saw them It was Fusion who got ahead of the game, changed off to the Genji to not have to worry so much about that Widowmaker. The McCree comes out, and then the Pharah as well, but they obviously just weren't getting as many ultimates out of Undead because of that, and yeah, just it seemed to carry on throughout that point, the problems they were having in challenging the DPS of Philadelphia Fusion, which like Shadowburn, he's one of the best in the league. Especially if you're talking purely projectile DPSs, he's definitely up probably Prophet and Dreamcasper maybe as some of those really top tier.
Linkser, yeah. But for me, it's not just a question of the hero picks, but how the team are playing together and coordinating their positioning. Shanghai Dragons, we saw that their supports were so often caught off by themselves. And now as we open up onto Night Market, this will be Shanghai Dragons' last chance to take their first series win. They'll have to be playing very cautiously.
Undead going for the Soldier this time. We're seeing a lot of interesting picks out of this guy. He just refuses to conform to the meta. He's a bit of a rebel, and at the moment it's working out for him. The edginess coming through. They're taking out Neptuno, and they've forced Philadelphia all the way back to their spawn, mainly off the back of a very aggressive dive in by Roshan. And we might have chastised him a little bit for that last round, but this time it works out.
This time it worked out indeed. Shanghai Dragon is going to have the advantage in first point capture, but Carpe sniffing around in that back forces Shanghai Dragons to retreat onto the objective, and some of that lack of peel coming to bear once again. Altering going to be the first one to fall. However, the rest of Shanghai Dragons are here to play. They're going to be taking out 2 members of Fusion, though they have traded a couple of kills.
A few left on the point here. Undead doesn't see the opportunity to use his tactical visor there. He's going to have to take it to the grave with him. MG, though, he's got the Valkyrie, sorry, that's just the Mercy heals on the back, and he's trying to use that to stall out the point a little bit longer. 37%, probably not as good as they would have wanted for a first cap turnaround, but Philadelphia Fusion now, they are in position. Look at this, getting very close up the top, waiting to just jump down, and Shadowburn, he chucks a couple of sneaky shurikens there just to get that blade up.
Yeah, just testing the waters. And oh no, he's caught out.
Oh,
oh no, that's gonna be so painful. There's no way that Shanghai Dragons can make a successful engagement at this point. Shadowburn, ooh, dashes up. Looks like he might have drawn his blade, but he is nothing if not a conservative and cautious Genji player, unsheathing that sword only when he knows he'll get maximum value out of it. Now he's going to be 1v1ing Roshan. This will be a very difficult duel for a Genji to win, but the rest of his team has his back here. Shanghai Dragons so close to capping out the first point, but no, they're not going to be able to do it.
And somehow Shadowburn, through that, has managed to stay alive just barely, using health packs. His heal is coming back just in time, and Freefield, as you said, he waited for Freefield to use that transit. Happened somewhere on the other side of the map, but unfortunately this is one of those rare occasions where Shadowburn gets shot down.
Yeah, Undead with that peeking tack visor just in the nick of time to save Altering from that dashing, slashing Genji. Will be winning out the fight for his team, but Shanghai Dragons sitting empty, only with MG's Diva self-destruct to try and stall things out. But they've learned from their previous mistakes and are pushing their advantage here, camping the spawn, and they've already found Neptuno.
The self-destruct used right at the juncture there, and I think that pulse bomb actually got eaten by a hot buzz, so good work for him. Chomping that one right up, and they've taken the advantage now up to 75% on the point, and Carpe just trying to poke around the back here, taking this Tracer 1v1. Who will be the victor?
Oh, who will be the victor? Oh, a great melee, but Carpe manages to blink back. But no, in the meantime, Shadowburn was getting all of the work done. It was a trick. It was a ploy. It was just to distract the Tracer Dia away from the body of the fight, where Philadelphia Fusion have been cleaning house.
Fantastic engagement by them, and just in the nick of time as well. Shanghai up to 96. Once again, Philly holding this forward position. We saw a virtuoso performance by Shadowburn on the Genji dealing with Undead last time. Will they get an early pick? They've got Hotbar to use that self. He wants to plump it in somewhere and force them out of position. He definitely can do that. Roshan once again going so deep. This time he does have the backup of MG though, using the defense matrix to make sure he stays alive.
Ooh, and Shadowburn goes down early as well. Neptuno Gonna have that Valkyrie though to bring him back, and luckily this Genji has held his blade the entire time as the fight devolves on the objective here now. Chooses to draw it here. He's gonna have to contend with all the chain healing, but he slices through it, finds Undead, but how much more can he get off of this ultimate? He's getting zoned out by Roshan at this point, but Shanghai Dragons need to flip this. Altering getting caught out. No, he manages to escape with his life while as Neptuno falls, so this could be the turning point for Shanghai Dragons. No!
Just incredible, incredible work there with Shadowman taking down all.
Incredible work from Shadowburn there, just surviving so long. That's like 70% of a Genji's job, and he's just about done it for his team. Roshan only can barely touch with just 20 HP, and Philadelphia Fusion will be taking away the series win, squashing Shanghai's hopes for that W.
Well, Shanghai, they're going to be annoyed, I'm sure, about losing that, but it's the closest they've been yet. And I know there were a lot of people out there saying, oh, Shanghai 0-4, fighting them off for the entire season, but I think these they're getting better. They're getting better and better, improving probably faster than some of the other teams. And with a bit of luck, I'm sure they will get over the hump at some point and put a win on that board eventually.
I'm very hopeful for Shanghai's future. Saw that they are no slouch when it comes down to mechanical Overwatch skill, and once they get the individual pieces of their puzzle to gel, it's going to be a beautiful picture.
Certainly struggled a bit so far. One of the things I think they do need to work is how they're using those support players. I mean, I'm still scratching my head about they would sub out 5 King and Altering on Junkertown. I mean, you've got both of them, they're just Mercy players. At the point, it's just one's better than the other. One has had more experience with the team, one's better at shot call. I mean, you just have to make that decision and stick with them, really.
That is something really strange to Western teams, but actually not that unique in the Chinese region. Coming off of a Premier Series or Nexus Cup, we actually often saw these very large rosters swapping out support players for apparently no reason. And back in the day when it was the dive all day long Lucio Zenyatta, it was 5 Kings Lucio getting swapped out for other Lucios. And so, you know, you ask a really good question, Genome. Is it the shot calling? Are they just looking to see if, I don't know, they smell better or something? There must be some kind of reason to swap them out, but unfortunately this time around, Free Feel, or excuse me, 5 King was not going to be the magic bullet for Shanghai Dragons' winning hopes.
No, they didn't quite get there in the end. That's good to see them go to a 5 series, though. I think that'll definitely be a bump in their confidence.
And
so what was the most important factor here? Is it the McCree that shuts
I
down
think
the
we can
Tracer
just
and the Genji, or is it
we'll just call it there.
from the
But
yeah.